Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel, or welcome back if you've been here before. My name is Liz and this is Let's Get Lizical, where I do everything card making. Today's the 25th of the month, so we're going to be doing a Christmas card for today. And I've already done some background work. We're going to be making like an ornament, and I'm going to show you how to make it removable off of the card, which I've done in the past. This I learned off of Jennifer McGuire's video quite a long time ago. So we're just going to be doing like a simple card. We're going to add a belly band, and then this will slide onto it so that the recipient can slide it off and add it to their tree after. And then we will make the background look a little bit prettier by adding some little rhinestones that I have. I think these are nail decals that I got off of like Wish years ago, and I've actually only bought them for card making. I think they're little like 3mm rhinestones, all the same size, so I was just thinking we could put them in like the intersections of this quilted background. So we'll be doing that, and I used the Lawn Fawn embroidery hoop dies for this. Again, I did it off camera. This pattern is available on their website. I did adjust it a little bit. They had the shadow off on this side. There's no outline on it. I added that, and then they don't usually fill in the background, but I found that this cardstock was a little bit too light, especially with the lighter color of the snowman, so I ended up putting a darker background on it. If you want it to stand out, just use a darker blue. If you don't want to do all the background pieces, like this probably would have worked better. But I wanted to keep it light, and then saw that it didn't work. And then even like the blue versus the white was still a little hard to see, so I added a little outline to the snowman, and I just added like a little shadow under his nose with the same charcoal that I used for these. I didn't have any black, so I just used a charcoal. And then for the snowflakes, I found that they blended into the background as well. So I just added one strand of like a metallic silver and just did a little X over each of the white snowflakes just to give it a little bit of glitter. I'm going to cut the embroidery hoop out of silver. We'll cover the top with a bow, so we won't have to worry about that. I'm not going to be doing like the embroidery hoop portion of it. And then for the circles that I cut, I used a circle die from my set. It's not exactly the same size. It's like very slightly smaller, but it doesn't bother me that much because it's maybe like a 1/16 of an inch around. So I'm just gonna glue one to the back of this to cover the threads, and then we'll glue the other two as another backer. But we're not gonna fully glue it down because we need space for the belly band to go through. So I will probably just like mark with a pencil where I want to put my glue on these, and then we'll go from there. So stay tuned for that. I'm also going to stamp the belly band with some snowflakes. I cut 2 of these 1-inch strips from an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. This is the full 8.5 because you're going to need it to wrap around the card. This one is a side folding card. If you want to do a top folding card, it wouldn't have to wrap around the entire card. It would just wrap around the top flap. But because this is a side folding card, I'm going to wrap it around the entire card, and then the recipient will just have to slide it off, and then they'll have like the plain quilted background with the rhinestones. I'm not going to add a sentiment on this. And then on the inside, you could write a message saying, you know, remove belly band, take it off, and you have an ornament to hang on your tree. So stay tuned for that. I'm going to switch over to voiceover. Again, sorry, I still have a cold, so I don't sound the greatest, but I will try my best not to sound too stuffy. So I'll be right back. Hey guys, voiceover Liz here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the background first, as always. I'm just going to glue the backing on. I'll do the rhinestones later. I really just wanted to get this onto the card, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on the belly band because I want to give the ink a bit of time to dry, just because I used the clear embossing ink just to make it like a subtle pattern on the belly band. This first time I just like stamped randomly the whole like strip, well, majority of the strip, and for the second one I decided to fold it in half and then stamp it. That way only the front is getting the pattern. I will do it to the other strip as well. I'm just going to flip it around and do it on the opposite side, because I didn't necessarily need that pattern to go all the way to the back, which is why I did it this way. I just find it's easier to kind of eyeball things when it comes to belly bands. I don't provide measurements or anything. I just, again, take a full 8.5 inch long strip. You can make it as narrow or as wide as you want. I made it an inch. I did end up cutting it down 1/8 of an inch because it wasn't fitting quite into my thing. I think I added a little bit too much glue, which you'll see here in a bit. I do struggle with it a bit. And then because I cut the slits that they're like interlocks, the bands at the back, before I inserted it into the ornament, it ripped. So I end up taping it. You'll see it in the video. I didn't think I needed to redo it, but you'll see anyway. For the backing on the cross-stitched piece, I had to like really go around and pinch it, kind of like you're making like dumplings. Like you just want to pinch the edges a lot because of the raised area at the back. It kind of wants to like sit flat on those stitches, so I had to like pinch around it to make sure it like sit into the glue, and then just kind of like kept those stitching bits contained. This is optional. It's going to be behind another piece of cardstock anyway, but you would still have to do that for the other pieces, and I feel like this would just help stop the belly band from rubbing and potentially like loosening anything. It shouldn't, because I'm pretty good at, you know, keeping my ends down and everything, and I'm usually pretty good at also keeping the back of my cross-stitch projects clean ish. It's not perfect, but it's pretty clean. But yeah, so here I am putting the glue. Like I pretty much left the 1-inch space. I should have moved it up just a little bit on either end, just to give it a little bit more space. You do need some ease in there for inserting the piece, which you'll see here in a second. I also put the top ribbon there on the back. I added a bit of glue to it, but then I also used washi tape just to tape it down, keep it in place, and then when I glue the other backing to it, it kind of holds it in place more. So it's just like an added security. For this, I made it short because I figure you would just add like a hook to it to either add it to your tree, or you could put it onto like a garland or something. Thinking about maybe not cross stitching, but crocheting a garland that I could like hang ornaments off of that I make. That would be really cute. And like if I did a bunch of these, I could just like hang them off as decorations, which would be fun. So I might do that. And then for the bow, this particular ribbon has wire in it, so it made it very difficult to tie the bow. So I'm just taking the wire out, which makes it easier. And I also cut a longer strip because it's a lot easier working with pieces that are longer. There's like a bunch of different videos to show you how to tie the perfect bow. So I'm speeding through this anyway. But the first time I tried it, I tried doing 2 pieces where I would like wrap and twist a centerpiece around the bow, and it was just getting too bulky. So I ended up cutting the larger piece and then taking out the wire, which is easy enough to do. You just slide the ribbon down the wire a bit, and then you can just pull the wires right out, and then it becomes a normal ribbon. And then we'll glue that in place after. Right now I'm working on the belly band. The first time I did this, I did it a little bit too loose. You want it to be loose enough to slide on and off your card, but not too loose that it's gonna fall off once it gets the ornament on there. So I just made it like a little bit tighter. And again, that area is gonna get hidden by the ornament, so you don't really need to worry about it being too neat. And then I'm just like marking an area at the back here where I'm gonna cut slits. You want to cut a slit from the bottom of one and the top of the other, so that they're on opposite sides and they'll just kind of interlock with one another. Again, this ripped for me. I wouldn't do this before inserting it into your ornament. I would do that step after if you're going to do this, just because it does weaken the cardstock, and because I'm using 65-pound cardstock, it's a bit thinner. If you wanted to, you could double it up if you're using similar weight cardstocks, or just use a thicker cardstock. It would make it a lot easier. But because this is basically like a throwaway piece of the card, I would say you can even just tape it together at the back, which is what I end up doing later, because for some reason when I went to pick it up later, it had just fallen apart. So I just end up taping it closed at the back. So I would probably hand deliver this. I have an envelope with it, but I also don't want to put it in the poly bags that I normally keep my cards in to keep them safe, because I don't want to crush the bows. I might, we'll see how it is. I just probably won't like squeeze out all the air like I normally do. I might just keep it like a little bit more bulky. But this is such a fun card to make. I mean, the cross stitching is what takes the time, but the rest of the card is fairly simple. You don't have to add a lot to it. Again, I'm not adding a sentiment to this. I'm just going to be like giving the card out as is. And yeah, so again, keep it simple. I'm just going to add the bow here with a little bit of glue and my reverse tweezers. This is pretty much the only time I use my reverse tweezers. I use them once in a while for placing dies, but not very often. I find that I don't really like the control I have with them because it's opposite to what you would normally use for tweezers. That's just how I feel about them. I bought them and they are handy to have for those types of things where you want to clamp something, but otherwise I don't really use it too often. And then here for the background, again, I'm just putting those rhinestones in the intersection pieces of this die. This is a background die. I think it's just called Quilted Background. I'll link it in the description down below, but it's from Mama Elephant. I love this background. It just adds a little bit of texture without having to like make a busy background. You could leave it plain like this and it still adds that little bit of extra to it, but I'm adding those rhinestones to it, and then I'm going to, in the video, I don't do the whole background, I do like half of it because I wanted to maybe make it look like it was kind of like snowing rhinestones and then go around the ornament just so I wasn't really wasting any, but I decided later that if the recipient wants to keep the full card, it would look kind of weird, like you didn't finish the card, so I ended up doing the entire background with the rhinestones. So it's, I think it was like, there's like 60 or 70 some odd rhinestones that I calculated that I used on this, which is fine. Again, like this came in like a 10,000 piece set. And I think I got rid of some, to be honest, because there was just too many. I'm never going to use up that many rhinestones in my lifetime. I have used these on quite a few cards, and I use quite a few when I do use them, just because they are so small. I kind of use them for more, you know, snowy background kind of things. So, yeah, those are going to last me forever. And yeah, that's pretty much our card for today, guys. This again would be not something you want to mass produce, but something you could work on throughout the year if you want just like little cross stitch projects that you can work on. It took me about an hour and a half maybe total to do the entire thing, so you could do them here and there throughout the year and have a couple cards ready to go. But yeah, so that's our card for today, guys. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, comment down below, and let me know your thoughts. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, please subscribe because I'd love to have you here. I'll be back again tomorrow for our regular scheduled video for Friday. So until next time, thanks guys, bye!